So, hello, good afternoon to all of you, those that are here face-to-face with us in Bec, in Bilbao, and also to the people, representatives of different companies that are connected online and that will follow this international event that we are organizing. This, I would call it, kick-off event we are organizing for the ESECA project. Un saludo también en local a los que estáis, a los asociados del Clúster de Energía, a los pocos que os habéis acercado. Esperemos que a lo largo de la tarde alguno de los inscritos también se acerque, pero especialmente a los que estáis aquí presencialmente. I was welcoming our members, the companies members of the Basque Energy Cluster that are also attending here physically this event. And my name, I will introduce myself. My name is José Ormaicha. I'm the General Manager of the Basque Energy Cluster, the cluster that is leading this project that is starting not today because it started 1 month ago, but this is the first event, the first joint event that we are organizing with all the partners, with the other 4 clusters that are members of this consortium and that will work with us for the next 3 years, if I'm not wrong. ESECA, as you may see from the name, the ESECA acronym goes after European Sustainable Energy Cluster Partnership for Africa, and the objective of the project, as will be presented in some minutes by Ander González, that is the project manager of this project from the Basque Energy Cluster. As I said, the objective of this project is to foster the international activities in the energy sector of European companies, especially SMEs, and the drivers or the instrument that will be used for these internationalization activities are the 5 clusters that are going to participate in this project. As I said before, they will later present themselves and introduce themselves as cluster organizations, so I won't say anything about them. That's better if they describe their activities, their members, and their mission and vision regarding this project. I just wanted to welcome all of you, and I also will take advantage to thank especially the representatives of the 4 clusters that will work with us. First, because of their effort during the preparation of the proposal. I think it was a very competitive and, as it was shown by the result, successful proposal. And also, thank you for being today here with us in this first event in Bilbao. I'm sure we will have very relevant results and activities for in the next 3 years. I also wanted to highlight that for us, maybe, I don't know for the other partners, but for us as the Basque Energy Cluster, this project is, I would say that at least in the international area or in the international activities field, is probably one of the most challenging we have faced, we will develop in the coming years. In the last 8-10 years, the cluster has carried out international activities in too many countries with the cluster members, especially in Europe, South America, now in the United States and North America also, specifically in some countries like Japan, Korea, and even in Africa, Morocco and South Africa. But this new, let's say, this challenge of exploring the markets or the market opportunities in the Sub-Saharan Africa and in the emerging countries in Africa that can represent interesting opportunities for European companies. It's because of the emerging features and the emerging character of these countries in Africa, and because also probably culturally is one of the most unknown continents for all of us. We are facing with a lot of commitment to this project, and also with being aware that we will have to put a lot of effort in it to be able to help the European SMEs to face and to also take care of these opportunities in Africa. So this was just my introduction, and I will give the floor to Ander González to start really with the presentation of the project. Thank you.
Thank you, José Ignacio. Well, he just make a bit presentation of the ESECA project, but I will get into detail. This is just the agenda that we have for today, the presentation of this project. Also, later, my colleagues of ESECA Partnership will be joining me one by one to present their clusters. And we will present briefly the support programs that we have right now in the European Union for collaborative projects in sustainable energy for Africa. The European Sustainable Energy Cluster Partnership for Africa, I would say it's of course a European funded project, but it's the beginning of a partnership, not just a project that will take 3 years for us, but also a partnership, a beginning of a partnership that will be developed not only for 3 years, hopefully, but for more. These partners are clusters from France, Italy, Germany, and also another Spanish clusters besides ourselves. That is the cluster from the region of Asturias. Later on, they will present themselves. And we gather around 550 organizations and almost 300 SMEs. And basically, the aim of the project is, as José Ignacio said, to position the European companies, mostly focusing on SMEs, in the sustainable energy sector in sub-Saharan markets in Africa. The main objective, it's divided, well, we have divided like in 3 main specific parts, sections. The first one would be to intensify the business network collaboration among European companies in the renewable energy sector and also in the electrical power generation, distribution and transmission sectors. This is too long. Maybe we will have to get like a smaller presentation in this case, for maybe calling it smart grids, something like that, or I don't know, to make it more brief. And then, with this, to develop a young internationalization strategy plan among the clusters and hopefully with the participation of our members, and with a common goal to the sub-Saharan African markets. This first part, the collaboration among European SMEs, the idea is to organize different events, different networking workshops, to foster the cluster and SMEs transregional cooperation. That's the main idea of the first, I would say, the first part of the project. We will focus on that, the first 1.5 years, 2 years, to try to identify opportunities of collaboration among our members, to then go in these missions to Africa together. When we talk about the renewable energy and the smart grids sectors in electrical power generation, distribution and transmission sectors in Africa, we are focused, I think, in these areas. The African market, as we know, you can find a lot of different aspects in the energy sector, but the distributed energy resources systems are a must nowadays in a lot of these countries in Africa. And now also they are developing the smart grids, energy storage solutions for these distributed energy resources systems. And of course, the integration of the renewable energies in the energy system, like in some cases, mostly solar, but also wind energy. This is mainly what we will do in the project during these 3 years to develop this internationalization strategy plan. For that, we will need also the support and the feedback from our companies. We will have to identify and analyze the potential targets. That's something that we will do right now in the beginning of the project. Analyze in depth these target markets that we will identify. We will develop specific market reports. And then, basically, the main reason of the project to define an internationalization strategy plan. In this plan, in this strategy, we will try to attend all the necessities of the SMEs, basically. What do they need to go to the markets that we have identified? The different actions that may take to create a good mission to some of these countries. That's all, I would say, the main action of the project. And of course, after defining what are we going to do, we will start the activities to go to these countries, to organize different meetings with key stakeholders there, etc. Well, yes, it is in there better, the map. In the proposal, we identified 3 countries, but this could change. I mean, we have pre-identified these 3 countries in the proposal because we thought that were interesting countries to take a deeper look in it. Senegal, Ghana, and Mozambique. This right now that we will start analyzing more countries in Africa. We will see if these 3. I suppose that these 3 will still be in the plan and in the market reports. But once we analyze the markets, we will see, because you know that Africa and a lot of these countries are constantly changing. So, and we also have 2 additional potential markets to add to the whole of 5 target markets. The main activities that we will be working on, and the most interesting activities that you will find in the project for your company, are we will organize 3 European networking events. This will be organized by our partners from Asturias, France, and Germany. We will see in which context we will organize the events, maybe in a context of a trade show, inviting several key stakeholders from Africa. The idea in these networking events is to foster the collaboration among the European SMEs, and with the focus, obviously, on renewable energy, sustainable energy in Africa. We will develop 5 customized market reports of the target markets. As I mentioned, maybe 3 of them will be Senegal, Ghana, and Mozambique, and another 2. Then we will, just the cluster partners, we will do several exploratory trips, 4 exploratory trips the next year, also to get feedback for the market reports, to have more contacts from key stakeholders there. And, well, other activities like the cooperation and business agreements that are established in the project that we will develop. And the main activity that, as I mentioned, this will happen later in the project, but are the 4 direct missions and 1 reverse mission from the African target markets. The market reports, as I was mentioning, we will do a high-level market report, considering 10 African markets. That's the idea. And we will select from those from this high-level report 5, only 5, and we will develop an in-depth market reports for each one of them. Of course, we will also go in these exploratory trips to 4 of these markets, and we will, as I said, gather information for the market reports. We will also organize, once the reports are developed, a webinar to disseminate for all the ESECA members. And also, as I mentioned, this is what's happening soon in the project, the networking events in Europe. As I mentioned, the idea of these events is to strengthen the relationship among European companies and prepare this joint internationalization strategy plan and this roadmap towards the African target markets. And I have inserted here a chronogram of these main activities that I have mentioned. The idea is in the middle of next year to develop the market reports and present them in a webinar. As I said, maybe June, July next year. We will organize in the meantime also, and we will go to these target markets, the cluster, the partnership, the cluster partners in these exploratory trips. And 3 separated European networking events. One, once we have finished the market reports and we will have more information and to develop this internationalization strategy. One in the middle of the project, exactly in the middle of the project, to define better the internationalization roadmap, what will we do with the companies in these business missions that you can see there below, will occupy the last part of the project from middle 2023 until the end of the project, basically. And a third and final European networking event that the idea is to analyze what we have done, the opportunities that we have created, the collaborations that we have developed, and present that to other companies that could join the last missions to Africa. Yeah, basically that's it. Here is the consortium of the project, of the partnership. As you can see there, we have the leaders that it's us, the Basque Energy Cluster, then our colleagues from Asturias, Meta Industry, the French clusters, the Formé, then the Lombardy Energy Clean Tech Cluster from the northern region of Italy in Milan, and from the Bavarian region of Germany. I won't even try to say the name of the cluster, but you can see there. He will explain later everything. So, and that's it. Now we will present each one of us each cluster, so you can know us better and already see how collaboration opportunities could be in your mind with these clusters. And I think I'll start. Yes, indeed. Just basically for the people that are online, people from other parts of Europe that have joined us today, thank you very much indeed. The Basque Energy Cluster, it's a non-profit organization that now has more than, now 25 years, I would say, yeah. Focused in the energy sector. We have right now more than 180 companies, different kind of companies from like energy sector operators, equipment and component manufacturers, engineering, R&D networks, R&D centers. And the mission of the Basque Energy Cluster is to improve the competitiveness in the Basque energy sector, particularly in SMEs. that's why we develop these kind of projects also. And with the mind in 4 areas: technology, internationalization, 5, sorry. Technology, internationalization, talent, innovation, and sustainability. Of course, we are focused in this project in the internationalization part of the cluster. I wanted to highlight the companies that are in the board of directors of the Basque Energy Cluster because, I mean, we of course, we focused and we want to help the SMEs, but we want to remind that the main companies, the big companies also help the SMEs and are a main actor also in our organization. The key value chains, the strategic value chains and key technologies of the Basque Energy Cluster, you can see them there. But of course, for the African markets, I will highlight and focus mostly in wind power, solar energy, smart grids, and energy and mobility service for consumers. That has links with Africa mainly, I would say, in also their distributed energy resources systems and those areas. Just a brief comments about the highlights of the wind energy in the Basque Country that gathers like more than 100 companies, and it's one of them. I mean, we always say that we could create a whole wind turbine here in the Basque Country, except from the blade that you have to go outside the Basque Country to get it, but the rest we can do it here, which is really remarkable considering the size of our region. This is the whole value chain with all the companies in the wind energy sector. Today, some of them were going to join us, like Siemens Gamesa, for example, was going to be here, but he couldn't make it. But we have relevant actors in the wind energy sector. Also, the solar PV in the Basque Country, mostly focused in this case in the manufacturing of components, electric components, systems and equipment. That's the main area. I would also highlight the engineering sector in this case, because we have also very big companies like Sener or Ridom that could help develop the engineering of the solar PV sector. And of course, last but not least, the sector of the smart grids in the Basque Country. Well, this is one of the primary strengths of the Basque Energy Cluster. It's the experience in the sector of the power grids, meaning from the system operators to manufacturers of components, also companies working on digitalization of this sector, a very complete value chain that could help to go to Africa with these companies. And our role, as I mentioned, we are the leaders of this project. We are in charge of course, of the management and coordination, and also we are in charge of the internationalization strategy plan. As I said, the core part of this project would be this internationalization strategy plan. And the next, I think that's my final. Yes, come on. That's my final slide. So I want to invite José Ramón Natal, Managing Director of the Meta Industry Cluster in the region of Asturias.
Thank you very much. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a big pleasure for us to be here to participate in this European project that it is a great challenge for us. We are probably the smaller cluster in this consortium, but at the same time, probably we will show how the dynamic we are and how we can boost the activities and initiatives previewed foreseen in this project. A short overview about us, about Meta Industry 4. Meta Industry 4 is a young cluster, 6 years old. We are located in the north of Spain, very, very close to Bilbao as well, in the Atlantic coast of Spain, in the north. Our cluster is mainly focused on the mechanical engineering value chain in our region. We represent, or our members represent all the value chain all the value chain of mechanical engineering of metal industry, from the raw materials suppliers to metal manufacturing to engineering and manufacturers of equipment goods. Besides other advanced services, IT technology facilitators, competence centers, public administrations with different public agencies that provide business services, and the university. We work in our new strategic plan includes five main strategic dimensions. One of them that we are going to put the focus on is the integration in global value chains and integration of supply chains management. I didn't mention before, but our cluster is composed, I don't know if you, no. It's composed by around 70 members. 60% of them are industrial companies, and the rest are the companies that I mentioned before, the sectors that I mentioned before. Putting the focus on the renewable value chains, our companies are very concentrated in the center of the region. You can see in the map where our region is, Asturias is, how in a 30 kilometers radius, all of our companies have their facilities for manufacturing and with the access to international ports. Related with the renewables value chain, we have more than 6,000 skilled workers working, more than 900 engineers, and with more than these figures in square meters facilities as well, especially focused on renewable energy and other value chains such as petrochemical and oil and gas that are the mainly focus of our companies. In renewable energy, our companies are specialized mainly in wind, in offshore and onshore wind, and there are specific references as well in other areas of this value chain related with solar energy, geothermal, biomass, and hydroelectric energy as well. In terms of figures, around 64% of our companies are working in the renewables value chain, with a total figure of more than 280 million of turnover in this value chain. 21% of our companies are in Tier 1, that represent the 41% of the turnover in this value chain, with a high level of internationalization and a high relevance over the integral project. And the rest of them, mostly SMEs, are in the other levels, in Tier 2 and Tier 3, in which we have this less level of internationalization, as you can suppose, and less relevance in the integral project, but with a high presence along the value chains for renewable energy. Finally, about our role in ESECA project, we will lead the partnership development strategy. During the next 36 months, we are going to develop the ESECA partnership value chains for the African markets, trying to boost the networking and the identification of synergies and boosting the synergies among the ESECA partnership members, and working in the development of the collaboration opportunities among the ESECA partnership members that are here represented by their clusters. And that's all for my side.
Thank you, José Ramón. And now, joining me on the stage, Carmen Di Santo will present the Lombardy Energy Clean Tech Cluster from Italy.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carmen Di Santo. I'm the cluster manager of Lombardy Energy Clean Tech Cluster, which is a technology cluster officially recognized by Lombardy region. And we were founded in 2009 and has an energy cluster, and we became energy and clean tech cluster after in 2014, and we were recognized in 2015 with the gold label award certificate as excellent management of the cluster. Our mission is to support the growth and innovation and competitiveness of Lombardy systems in terms of energy and environment sector. Our members are mainly SMEs and large companies. The main are SMEs, of course, are more than 100. Are very important also university and research centers, are 11 as you can see from the slide, and industrial associations. These are the main members of the cluster. The industrial associations are very important because thanks to them we can gather much more companies. In Lombardy, we can count more than 50,000 companies that are members of industrial association we work with. Of course, we can consider also the support of financial institutions, media, and the public sector. As far concerns activities, our priority is, as I said, to foster innovation, influence regional policy with advocacy activity, and promote internationalization, like we would like to do with the ESECA project, and strengthen the productive system in Lombardy. In 2001, we defined our new strategy plan, which lasts until 2027. And I would like just to underline that we define 4 main pillars, which are the reduction of CO2, the hydrogen development, industrial symbiosis, and digitalizations. Our thematic areas are 6. One is water, energy, and access, which is the water management, purification of water, and the use of water for produce energy. sustainable manufacturing, which is more about energy efficiency and the digitalization and extend the lifetime of plants, green building, clean air, and smart energy systems, which is one of the most important because it's the production and distribution of energy. Circular economy is a cross-sector area and will touch all the thematic area. What it's important to say here is that each area is coordinated by a member from industry sector and one member from research sector. We do this because we would like to foster innovation and we would like to make the two worlds try to work together as much as possible. This slide shows you our members by area. As you can see, most of the companies come from smart energy system sector and sustainable manufacturing. Very few of them from clean air, but it's a very new area, so it was just 1 year time, so it's the baby born area, we can say like that. And I don't go further, but what I would like to underline is that from the production of energy and renewable of energy, Lombardy region is not so strong as Basque country is with wind energy, because Lombardy doesn't have wind, very few. We have the sun, so we are pretty lucky about that. So, but we are pretty strong in biomass, for instance, biomethane production and waste to energy. So, and now there is a lot of attention on hydrogen as well. So we are quite invested a lot on it. We are involved in various European and regional projects. Apart from ESECA, we are involved in another internationalization project, which is a UTEC bridge. The sectors are water and energy, and the target market are very different because are US and Canada. So in that case, we try to find the most innovative company in order to be able to go abroad, because we have to compete with the innovativeness. It's not easy because of the COVID as well, but we are fighting to create opportunity for European SMEs. So if you are interested anyway, European SMEs are welcome. So Spain, from France, doesn't matter the country. Another project is RACES, which is on heat exchange and industrial symbiosis. So we try to create opportunity at European level. And then we have 3 regional projects which are on valorization of waste, basically more organic waste and sewage sludge, which is a quite big problem in Lombardy region. But we are trying to figure out which is the best plant and the best solution to reduce sludge and to recover ingredients, and we are monitoring the impact on health and, of course, the territory. I hand with the next slide, which is our role in ESECA. We are involved in all the activities, of course, but we will start with the market studies, which is one of the first activities, so we have to run now because we just meet, and from tomorrow we will start to find out who is going to support us to define the market. So in order to study pre-identified target country and then analyze and identify new target countries. Then we will be involved in exploratory trips and try to identify real opportunity for SMEs. I'm very glad to be involved in this project because we already received some interest from our company, SMEs, and because the African market is very important and is going to become more important because it's developing very fast. So if COVID will permit to travel, that would be very important as well for all of us. And so I wish good luck to everybody, and I thanks Ander and I thanks the Cluster Energia for being here, invite us to be here. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. Yes, let's hope. Let's hope that this is a beginning of a successful project and we can do a lot of things together. Okay, next one, our colleague Peter from Cluster. I will try this time. Leistungselektronik?
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, yes, Peter, please, go ahead.
Sorry. We're the Leistungselektronik cluster, which is German for power electronics. I guess we should work on the English logo as well. But anyway, we are quite international already because we are running this regional network out of Nuremberg, which is the cluster. And we also have a European network, the European Center for Power Electronics, which was actually founded first in 2003. And then in 2006, we established a cluster which is focusing more on this Bavarian region. But the members are quite similar and they overlap a lot, so it makes sense to combine it. And this is an industry-led network, so we have lots of companies, large companies, small companies. On the European level, it's more the large companies, and on the local level, it's more the SMEs. And so far, we've been more focused on technology and research, so we offer lots of training programs and workshops and do the networking around new technologies. And we also do the normal cluster stuff, bringing people together, bringing companies together with research institutes, and do networking and lobbying efforts to get more people interested in technology and to get skilled workers. And I'm responsible for the internationalization. So before we have done good cooperation with Japan, especially in the field of power electronics. So as we have good European connections already, this time it's a good opportunity for us to go to Africa. Okay, just some small words about power electronics. Just to remind you that it's a broad, like a cross-sector technology where we go from very small power to very high power, whatever is needed, direct current or AC current, and main applications that are interesting at the moment: renewable energy, mobility, very big in Bavaria with all the automotive companies, and of course grid integration, off-grid integration. So this is probably the most relevant for our project. Okay, a little slide about the core competence in Bavaria. It's a good ecosystem for technology and for renewables. Here we start with the material side, where you develop all the the silicon, for example, the silicon chips and the passive components and so on. And then the heart of the power electronics is this components and subsystems where you actually build up the converters and for PV and wind, for example, or for batteries and so on. And then you go the next step to the applications, e-mobility, smart home, smart office, medical. So here we have the large companies like BMW or Audi and all the Siemens, its headquarter right next to Nuremberg in Erlangen. And then finally the largest part and the largest revenue probably infrastructure and AI, where you have all the grids and the smart digitalization, which is always important. Okay, that's about the synergies we have in Bavaria. So it's not only the power electronics, but the whole value chain is present there. And within the ESECA project, we're organizing a large networking workshop, and then we support all the other activities that we have, dissemination activities, the missions, and so on. So that's the short introduction of the power electronics cluster, and Ander, I give back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. Okay, and the last one, but not least, Paul Médé from France, from the region of well, the city of Lille. I don't remember the region. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ander, and thank you, everyone, for being here. We are very happy to be here in Bilbao for this kick-off meeting. So I'm Anaïs Asselin, Managing Director of the Cluster Médé, and I will present you what we do in a few slides. So first of all, I think we can explain what Médé means. So it's for motors and electrical devices for energy efficiency. We are based in Lille, as Ander said, in northern France, and we work in the Hauts-de-France region. So since 2010, we promote research, development, and innovative projects, and we bring together companies and academics in electrical engineering. So we have 4 target markets that you can see here on the slide. So energy efficiency, renewable energies, smart grids, and mobility. So it's very close to some of our partners, so it's very interesting to be part of this big project. And as we are a scientific cluster, we also have a scientific roadmap to help us to reach these markets. And we have 3 main areas that you can see also here, so materials and innovative components for electrical engineering, smart energy converters, electrical energy management, and storage. So for example, just for the last one, we work on local energy management, on power electronics into networks, and mobility, electrical mobility, for example. So a few words on our governance. So we bring together a wide range of stakeholders. Some are multinational companies. You may know some of them, like Alstom, for example, or Électricité de France, but also SMEs, of course, startups, and academics, so laboratories and university, most of them. like the clean tech cluster from Lombardy, we try to have a strong balance between academics and private sector. So you can see that our board of directors and scientific committee are composed half by academics and half by companies to be always in a balanced dialogue between these two kinds of stakeholders. A few words about our scientific committee. Its role is quite important for us. It helps us a lot to define and update our scientific roadmap, but also it evaluates projects, ongoing projects or projects being prepared. It gives constructive advices to reach excellence. So a few words also about our activities. So it's not very original. We did the kind of same activities and all of the cluster presented today. But few words maybe on the key figures you can see here. So I think we are the smallest one. So we reach almost 70 members. All of them are SMEs, and let's say 95% of them are based in the Hauts-de-France region. Even if we are quite small, the activity is quite important, as you can see on the last figure. So we have more than 30 research and development projects labelized by our scientific committee. So it means that since 2010, we worked on more than the double of this project. Only the best one are counted here. So what I think is interesting is that we already have a strong strategy towards Africa since 2017. The ambition is to support concrete projects in the African market, so to foster access to energy, but in the same time to foster our energy sector. So it's really a win-win strategy we want to develop, and collaborative projects between African stakeholders and between our members. So it all started with a 6-month study we developed in the beginning of this strategy based on quantitative and qualitative analysis. We tried to understand better what the African market energy is and what we can offer here in the Hauts-de-France region. And after, we tried to deliver concrete guidelines and tools to foster collaboration between African and French stakeholders. So it helped us to identify and to precise 3 markets, 3 target markets. So you can see them here in the slide, so it's quite the same. So renewable energy production, smart grids, and regional transport system. We added 2 transversal areas, knowledge transfer and training, because it's a very important demand from African stakeholders, and efficiency and maintenance for long-lasting infrastructures. So if we focus a bit more of the analysis of the regional industrial sector, so we did a quantitative analysis quite precise to define the value chain, to identify local companies, to map them in the Hauts-de-France region. And we concluded with key figures you can see on the map. So, but what is more interesting is that thanks to interviews and workshops we did with our companies, that we notice a very strong interest from them to develop in the African market, and that some of them are already really well represented in some countries. So it really encouraged us to go further and to also to join this project, this ESECA project. We did the same, as I said, we tried to keep very balanced between academics and private sector, so we did the same with our academic members, mapping their skills in training and research that are relevant for the African energy markets, and we mapped also their existing partnerships with African universities. We also, what is really interesting too to note is that Africa is a strong, there are strong strategies among university and academic stakeholders towards Africa, so it was really relevant to go further for them also in this dynamics. And that we noticed, for example, that they are really present in West Africa and in French-speaking countries, for example, but they are interested to develop in the rest of the continent, so we would like to help them to discover these other countries. So in 4 years now, we already managed to support almost 30 projects. Half of them are already funded in 12 countries, thanks to the support of the Hauts-de-France region also. The projects we supported are very different. Some are in training, some are in research, or other just infrastructures. But I just want to quote this one. It's just another European project we launched the month before. It's 4 years projects to gathering partners from Benin, Senegal, Germany, and France. And it focused on an innovative solution for microgrid access to energy. And in these ESECA projects, we are leader of the work package for communication and sustainability strategy, but of course we will be fully involved in all the other tasks of the project. And we are very happy because, as you see, we started to work with Africa, but we would like to go far further with you and to share what we know and what we could do to improve even more our collaboration with African stakeholders. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Anais. Okay, that's for the first part of the workshop. Now I would like to ask if you, the companies that are here or the companies that are connected online, have any questions. Well, the people online can write in the chat if they want. Companies here, if you want to say something, ask something about the project or to any of the other clusters, you have the opportunity. I know it's difficult because we are not so many, but okay. I mean, the project is, as I mentioned, is just starting. This is just a presentation of what are we going to do. We hope that we can do a lot of things for the companies, for the SMEs. Specifically, we hope that the SMEs interested, are involved in the project and give us feedback and well, participate with us in the activities that we will develop. We hope that we can get more companies also in the process. And well, I will present now a brief presentation of the funding programs for projects in the sustainable energy sector that we have found and that are open today, because I mean these are some calls that are open right now, but we know for sure that more will come in the future. I will focus, yes, in 3 aspects. First, in the Horizon Europe program that will last until 2027. So these calls are the ones that are open right now for 2021 and 2022. So I know that more will open until 2027, but we haven't recorded the information about those calls here. Then there is a small, there's a small aspect about the Horizon 2020, the program before Horizon Europe, that they have funded a project that is still ongoing right now and that companies could opt for. And I will explain also other partnerships or strategies in Europe that are linked to Africa. Okay, regarding the first call, this is just, by the way, some information so you can have it, and the companies that are right now attending or the companies that will receive these presentations, these informations, can take a look and tell us if they find it interesting. In that case, we could start moving something between our clusters to see if it is possible to prepare some kind of project for these calls. For these calls or future ones, we will keep updating this information along the project. So this first call that we brought is the topic is the demonstration of innovative plug-and-play solutions for system management and renewable storage in off-grid applications. Basically, that's it. I mean, this is not specifically for Africa, this call, but it mentions, I mean, it has to be, these projects have to be installed, these cases, as they refer to, had to be installed in either in countries of Africa or countries of Asia. So that narrows a bit the approach of the target markets. It closes next year. It's already open, and it will be one project funded on 10 million euros. And the other call, it's this one may be more focused because the previous one was obviously focused in companies. Of course, SMEs, companies related to the technology of plug-and-play solutions, off-grid applications, renewables, energy storage, smart grids, etc. This one maybe is more focused on engineering, consultancy kind of companies, I would say. It's to define an energy system modeling for African countries. This one, it is indeed specific about Africa. And yeah, this one also will be open next year and close next year. And this will, a smaller amount of money, but 5 million euros, and also to be shared with in 2 projects. And basically, that's the 2 topics that we have found that are open now. I mean, as I said, more will be open for sure with the target market of Africa and related to renewable energy. The strategies of the European Commission are very clear in this aspect, so more calls, different funding opportunities will appear along the way. About the Horizon 2020 program, you can see there that this was a call that was launched in 2019. I mean, the project funded, well, there was one project funded that it's the LEAP-RE project. But, of course, this call has no longer exists, but the project still exists. It will be active for 5 years. And the opportunity for the companies here is that they can approach and participate in the cascade funding calls that this project will develop along the way. It is called the Long-Term Europe-Africa Partnership on Renewable Energy. So, of course, it's focusing in that sector. They want to involve the companies in the pillar 1, that is the one that they have already been working on implement transnational proposals for the research, innovation and capacity building, of course, in the renewable energy sector. Then they will also keep working in Pillar 2, Pillar 3. Regarding this first pillar, the call and the activities that they were thinking about collaborating among European and African companies were this, fully aligned, most of them, with the companies that we have in the ESECA partnership and we have in this project. And they also launched a joint call to fund research, applied research and experimental development projects in the renewable energy sector this last year. The call was closed, but they mentioned that they will possibly launch another call in 2022. So we will be looking for that once they launch it. And yeah, I will now focus on the partnerships, different partnerships that are in Europe to collaborate with Africa, and the aspect that they highlight the most, one of them, of course, being the energy sector. This is the European Commission and the European External Action Services developed the partnership, the African EU partnership, that is focused in those 5 trends, being the first one, the green transition and energy access for Africa. This partnership, the idea of presenting you this is to know that this partnership exists, that we will try to work together also. We will try to contact them and see how we can collaborate together with the ESECA partnership and see where it leads. This one is another partnership, Africa-Europe for Innovation, more focused. The other one was focused in general aspects, let's say, possibly governmental mostly, but this one is more focused in the technology. There you can see like the high quality innovators, accelerators, technology transfer kind of projects they want to promote. And the activities that they highlight, well, more focused, as you see, in the technology sector, let's say. And this one, well, it's not. I ask for pardon for my other colleagues that are not from Spain, because this doesn't apply in this case. But we found this call that has been launched like recently. It's well, the Horizonte Africa strategy from the Spanish government is a strategy that they have launched recently also, and they have approached us to talk about the different opportunities and the different collaborations that we could have with them to promote the internationalization of companies, mostly SMEs also, to African markets. And they have launched this call, this funding of 50 million euros along the next 3 years. The idea of this funding is not just for the companies to go abroad. It's mostly, at least this first part, to fund engineering consultancy companies to develop, well, to be in contact with key priority countries in Africa and develop an energy agenda in these countries, and then to involve Spanish companies, Spanish SMEs in the process of implementing this agenda in these countries. The countries right now, well, I will focus in the sub-Saharan countries. you can see there in yellow are Senegal, Ivory Coast, Tanzania and Kenya are the countries that are the priority countries of this funding. You can see there that beneficiaries, they say it's mainly public agents. They are referring mostly to entities in the African countries that will be helped by the consultancy companies, Spanish consultancy companies, and the companies that will go along with them in the process. And the focus, of course, that I didn't mention, but is highlighted there in green, it's one of the main sectors that they are focusing in this call is the energy infrastructures. And I don't have anything else regarding the funding opportunities for collaboration. It wasn't too much, as I said, more will come. We will be, as part of the project, we will be looking for this kind of calls, this kind of collaboration opportunities to have also another additional funding that you could be interested in to collaborate with European companies to go to Africa. Of course, during the project, you will see that we will develop, as I said, different market reports, different collaboration opportunities. We will fund SMEs to go to Africa also. We have the budget for that, to travel to the countries. But I mean, if you are interested in finding another company, another consortium to go ahead and make a project, we will also help in that. And now, if there are any questions, I would like to make a poll. I think, Miguel, ¿lo comparto? Okay. Yes, I would like to make a brief poll to see the companies, what they think, where are they in the process of going to Africa, what are their interests, the countries of interest that they have. So if you, the companies that are here and that are connected online, can enter in slido.com or slide.do also, and enter the ESECA code, you will be able now to see, well, it will appear in your screen, these questions: which countries from Sub-Saharan Africa are of interest to your company? Supposedly, you should write in the mobile phone or in the computer. You will be able to write different names of the countries. For example, we have mentioned Senegal, Ghana, Mozambique, Kenya, Tanzania. You should be able to write these different countries of interest in the poll. You should be able to write as many as you wish. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 5. I will give you some time to answer. Of course, I also encourage the people connected by Zoom to answer the poll. As I said, only entering in your navigator slido.com and entering the ESECA code, you should be able to see the question. Let's see, that do we have already? Okay. Okay. Interesting. Supposedly this creates like a cloud that if you select, different people select different countries, you will see it greater than the others. So Senegal, for example, okay, the others are at the same level right now, but that's okay. Okay, thank you. That gave us information to see which kind of companies, which kind of countries should we look for in the high level market report that we will develop first, and then to look into the specifics, the specific countries. Okay, thank you. I will go to the next one. I thought it appeared in the, well, you should be able to see in the next poll which information is more important to consider on a market report. I entered here, you have to rank like from better to worst, or to less important, let's say, which information you consider it's more important to be in a market report. The list was like, for example, the regulatory framework, the outlook in the energy outlook in the different countries, in the different markets. Also key stakeholder, a contact list of key stakeholders. I will share the first one to see. Okay. Yes. Current energy market and expected evolution, socioeconomic context, analysis of energy resources, and energy mix in the energy system. We consider, especially in Africa, I'm speaking just from my point of view, but the socioeconomic context to be especially relevant in some of these countries. Also, of course, the regulatory framework, I would say it will be important. Okay, regulatory framework and list of key stakeholders would be the main two aspects, and also now the energy markets and expected evolution. Okay, nice. We normally have in the market reports that we develop, we have all of them, all of these aspects that we have highlighted here. But it's always useful to see where we should focus. Okay. Next one. Okay, this one is easier. It's just to select. I think you can select 2 or 3 maximum of these answers. Which kind of preparatory activities would you like to receive before going on a mission to Africa, to an African country? I know that each country is specific, and we will develop our strategy plan and implementation roadmap specifically for each country, but it's always useful to see what added value we can offer to the SMEs before going to these countries. That's why I highlighted 5, but could be more. For example, webinars of the market reports, webinars to explore and discuss key challenges and opportunities in the relevant markets, webinars focused on business planning principles in the target markets, specific workshops to organize the future missions, and up-to-date information about funding opportunities. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, that idea, the organization of a specific workshops for future missions I mean, I think it's something that needs to be done before going to explain everything well, mostly in these countries. Also, of course, I mentioned webinars, but I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically webinars. Of course, it's easier. But then in the day-to-day, the clusters will also need to sit with their companies and explain them different aspects of the projects and the target markets, and etc. Okay. Also, this one, it's going really long ahead of time, because I'm now talking about the future missions that we will develop in the last part of the project. But it could be also useful to know which kind of companies, key stakeholders, could you be interested on contacting there once we organize the future missions. And it will be also helpful once we organize the exploratory trips to see who we may contact there. Here we have the renewable energy project developers, electricity system operators, manufacturers of equipment systems for renewable energy and smart grids, universities and research centers, and then mostly public institutions, bodies like soft landing agencies, also NGOs, clusters and associations like us that are there. Okay. So more focused on companies, basically. Developers, big companies, and well, manufacturers of equipment and systems there in Africa. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And last question. Also focused on the future missions. Which kind of activities would you be more interested in developing in these missions? This can change a lot because this is what we are used to do in the Basque Energy Cluster. We usually attend to trade shows and conferences in the target countries so we can gather there more companies and more entities from the target market. We also organize B2Bs and matchmaking events there, specific meetings with public entities, and we also visit to key stakeholders installations. That's what we used to do. But this, as José Ignacio mentioned in the beginning of the workshop, Africa is a new world for us. We've never been in these countries, at least. We've been in Africa and Morocco, for example, but I could say it is a bit different. So I don't know if this will change in the future, maybe, depending on how we evolve in the project and we see which is the most interesting person or key stakeholders to talk when we go there in the exploratory trips. But okay, curious. Specific meetings with public bodies. So that's the opposite of the previous poll, basically. But that's okay. Okay, and I think that's it. Yeah, I can stop here. Yeah. Okay. Was I coming? Okay. Okay. So that's it. I don't know any questions, comments, remarks about the polls from anyone. José Ramón? Wait.
Thank you very much. Ander, I think that this poll is very interesting, and I suggest to do after this kick-off meeting of the project, try to do the same poll at cluster level, in order to have more answers and try to see the point of view of the companies. Probably in our level, we can gain more response and trying to have a better idea of what our members want from this project, and it's very interesting the way that you designed it.
Okay.
So
yes, for sure, we can send it offline, the poll, also to our members, because I mean, more members from the Basque Energy Cluster were going to come. They were interested in coming to the workshop. Sadly, they weren't able to do so. But for all the interested companies that we had, and more that we could think about, we could send the poll. And yeah, it's interesting always to have the feedback, and necessary also to have the feedback for the companies.
As many answers that we have, probably more accurately we will work for the future.
I agree, totally. Thank you, Ramón. Okay. José Ignacio. No.
I would like to make a question, and specifically to our colleagues from MEDE, because I have to say that although we are the coordinators of the project, it all started with you. So it was MEDE, the persons at MEDE, the ones that pushed us and motivated us to take the lead of the proposal, and also I must say that the proposal is very much based on your experience and the strategy you have been telling us that you started in 2017. So to this respect, maybe in energy, or you said you are the smallest, maybe in the number of companies, or maybe in some specific fields, but I would say that regarding Africa, you are the biggest of the partners. So I would like to ask you, we are talking today about these target markets, or the most relevant potential countries in Africa. In the proposal, 3 were selected, I guess probably also based on your previous market report. So apart from this, or based on your experience for the last years, which countries would you say are the ones that have more potential in terms of the activity we are searching? And also with a comment on which ones of those, because there might be countries with a lot of potential maybe, but let's say difficult or uncertain for European companies to explore or to address. So if you could mention or give us some kind of hint of what kind of countries might be these ones that combine the potential development of their markets with some certainty or less uncertainty in terms of how to address from Europe those countries.
So thank you for this question. I will start, and if Laura you want to complete, don't hesitate. So in MEDE, in our strategy, we do not push for specific countries. It's our companies and academic stakeholders and NGOs that come to see us and suggest countries. They say, we have a project in Benin, we have a project in Senegal, can you help us? And at the end, we understood that a lot of our companies were interested in Benin, for example, or in Senegal. So it's hard to answer this question with an overview of African markets. But what we understood is that French-speaking stakeholders are very represented in West Africa. That's why we pushed for Senegal to be part of the 3 priority countries. And Ghana is very interesting for us because specifically it's not French-speaking, so our companies are not very well represented in this country, but it's one of the most dynamic countries in West Africa, very stable also, and with high potential in energy markets. So this is why we don't know at all this country, expect from some of our academic members that want to develop in this country. But we know that there are a lot of opportunities. In East Africa, we heard of Ethiopia, for example, or Namibia, but just some of our members are over there, but we don't have strong connection for the moment. What we understood also is like Mede is a small cluster, so it was not easy for us to try to develop in already very strong countries. For example, Nigeria, South Africa are very interesting countries, but us alone, it would be too difficult to try to find entry points and to help our companies. But maybe all together, it can be interesting. So that's why, for the moment, we focused on small but with high potential countries such as Benin, Guinea, and Senegal, for example. But I think the kind of poll you developed today is very interesting, and after 4 years we need to update all the strategy we've done. So it's a good opportunity for us also to ask again our companies, because we can see it changes very fast in these countries. One day it's a very good and stable market, and the day after it's a bit more complicated. So you always try to adapt and to be flexible. So we'll do it with you.
Okay. Anything else? More questions, comments? Questions from the chat? No? Okay, so we have finished earlier than expected. So if there are any more questions, of course, with the companies here, thank you for coming. If you want to chat later or have a meeting later in the project, of course we will keep you informed about the updates, about everything that is going on. And for the rest of the partners, thank you also for coming to Bilbao. Know that nowadays it's an extra effort. But we consider that it's better to have you all here also to share everything and share all the thoughts that came to the mind. So thank you all, and thank you for coming, and all the people online connected also, thank you for attending. Okay.